Hey everybody, what's up? This is Imran from the Biker Crew UAE. Thanks for joining me. And today we are continuing the track bike build. Yes, we are turning my 2010 road going R6 into a track bike. Previously on Road to Track, the rebirth of a legend.
Yeah. Right, I'll do these bad boys. Easy. Okay. Okay. So there's only one. I have to remake that and maybe a spacer on that one. That's fairly easy, and that all looks like it kind of goes in place. This is where it's going to be tricky. Right. Just the front. Line up. They should all line up because the chassis and stuff are exactly the same. Because they haven't changed. They changed. This got changed from a different instrument panel. Right. They changed the rear subframe, but everything else is the same. It's the same. So dead centre of that one, and then the centre of that mould, correct. And then the front one. Let's draw those and the small ones. I'll confirm the sizes.
There's bullet points, yeah.
Well, they've marked them now. I don't know whether we just go with their markings as to where it should be, or if we.
Well, if it lines up.
Well, exactly. They line up and they're roughly right. Then we'll just go with them because it's got the 3 points. If they're miles off, then we'll have to have a bit of a fiddle around. So that's just they do look pretty good. Well, if we centre that one, centre that one, and that one, that all looks pretty good. I think we go with it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
And even the 2 points line up here as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think this one, what we'll have to do is just drill a small hole, put it in place, drill a small hole through to pile up the centre, and we'll use that one to put the markings on. Because we pop rivet these on. So this should be fairly easy to do. Right, let's go to the bench.
Now, where were we last time? Well, you don't need to look any further. I will leave all the links to the previous few episodes in the description. So without any further ado, let's get this thing rolling.
Do we know anyone that's got an R6 registered on the road?
So just going to put a little mark on there so I know whereabouts it goes. Keep your gear lever in the same position. Pop this out so we can get the bar to lean out of the way so we can get the filter off. We can get 120.
So we built a tool to fit this, to fix a problem. Well, our master mechanic built the tool, I just watched.
That's all it needs, that's it. Done.
Watch the lens on that. Might want to move that camera a sec. Just in case, I'm going to
Probably be alright, but the hardest thing is a partially dissolved candle and everything. Yeah.
That's the tool Brad invented
No.
to remove a crushed can. Yeah.
Yeah. Should I put the thing back?
Let's have a look at it. Does it need? Is it
Clean. How is it? Let's have a look. That's right, yeah, put it back on.
So if it was particularly dirty or nasty, then I'd clean it up. Is that the right tool or just taking the spanner?
That's what it says.
Is it?
No.
That one. Thank you. Battery?
No. That's just this one turning.
Please. 1 litre. Okay. Look, because I don't know. Obviously, depending on the system, sometimes you can overfill it because you never get all of it out.
Right.
You'll need to just drop it off the paddock stand as well in a minute. So we shouldn't be anywhere near it yet. No, just on the tip, that's fine. Let's lob another one in. Yeah, we're getting there. Right, can you pop it off the paddock stand for me? Bottom bolt, you'll see, looks a little different, and it's got a little copper washer because it's a drain plug. It's rather useful. Got crap in the radiator. See the bits that come out from the water. really. The thing is, you don't know how long the coolant's been in there. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, but then doesn't mean anything, does it? Right, let it drain for a few minutes, get his way out. So when we're doing coolant, so coolant on bikes serves kind of three purposes. The obvious one is it helps take the heat and stuff away, but the additives of these, we don't use just water for three reasons. One, in like Europe and parts of India and stuff, it acts as an antifreeze. So obviously water, like ice, when it freezes it expands and it cracks engine blocks and stuff, so you actually put it in there so it prevents it from freezing. No, not a problem here. The second one, which is kind of the biggest part, is it aids with anti-corrosion. So obviously you put water in metal rust. So you use coolant, which then prevents it from doing so, which is one of the main reasons you need to change it fairly regularly, because that chemical component breaks down, and all of a sudden that anti-corrosion protection goes, and then you end up, which is why you end up with rusty, crappy stuff coming out, because it's not had that anti-corrosion protection. And the third one is it helps to lubricate the seals and the impellers and keeps all the rubber pipes and stuff intact. So it has additives in there to help keep the rubber in good health. Because again, water with a lot of things can break things down over time, so it adds a degree of protection on those. Now, one of the drawbacks from coolant is coolants actually decrease the effectiveness of the heat transfer. And so if you compare how well water takes heat out compared to coolant, water is better at getting the heat out. But water doesn't protect your engine from all the other bits and pieces, so
it's a trade-off.
Exactly. And it's more important for that, right? I mean, the radiator's oversized to allow for that fact. In the summer here, obviously, it becomes more of an issue.
Right.
You should be fine because on a race bike, you're never going slow. You're never going to be doing 20k through traffic.
Of course.
And there's no fans on it. You're either going to be sat in the pits or you're doing 100k an hour down straight. So there's always going to be plenty of nice cold, as cold as can be, airflow.
Yeah.
Now, what you can use, and what I use, and you might want to get some for the summer, you'll add some, is stuff called water wetter or 0 degree or water chiller or this. And you add a small degree of this, it's like a quarter of a bottle to this, it's like the cooling system on this. And what it does is it then brings back some of the effectiveness of the heat transfer. Now on a race bike, I'm not sure it needs it. I run it because I'd rather have it than not have it.
Okay.
I always use it on the dirt bikes because they're horrendous for it.
Right.
In the dunes, you're not necessarily going that fast, right? Because you may be going fairly slow. So it makes that, the air that is going through the radiators, it makes it just a little bit more effective at taking the heat out. And it makes a huge difference on the dirt bikes. So I always want to know how well it works on that, so I put it in my race bike. But it doesn't harm anything, it's fairly cheap and easy. It's not that easy to come by anymore. So if you see it anywhere, pick it up. Sometimes I mean it may be called something different, but it's basically exactly the same thing. But for the summer, it might be worth getting some of that where you just pop some out, and all you do is just drain a tiny bit of fluid out, suck some out the top, whatever, and you put like 100, 150, whatever it is, whatever the measurement is in the top. Okay, that's tight. It's hot, it's going to push some in, then as it starts to cool down it draws it back in, and then when the pressure goes, it obviously releases and seals itself again. So that's why we have 2 seals to check. So whenever you take it off, just check the integrity of that rubber seal there, and that rubber seal there. If they're really bad and degraded and broken down or whatever, you'll probably need to get another one. Okay. So the reason it goes down slowly is because you've got, the way the cooling system works, it's kind of set into 2 zones. You've got the primary zone where it's all just kind of, the water's all around the engine and done, and the radiator stuff is like the secondary zone. You have a thermostat. And at set temperature, there's basically a valve inside the engine that opens and then allows that hot fluid to then go into the radiator. So we do that for 2 reasons. Basically, it enables the engine to warm up quicker, because you only have to warm up that amount of coolant, not all of this, to keep the engine at the right temperature, so in cold climates and that kind of stuff, it gets up to operating temperature stuff faster. The reason that's going down slowly is because at the moment, because it's cold, that thermostat is closed, so it's in a closed position. But what thermostats have at the top to enable you to change the coolant, so that's a complete seal, the water would never come out, so it'd be a completely sealed and closed system. There'd be no way to get anything out. So what they have at the very top is something called, it's called a jiggle pin. It's just a tiny little pinhole on top of the radiator that allows a little tiny amount of fluid to go in and out. So when you're doing this, you can fill it up, and it slowly goes down and fills that cavity up within. Because if the thermostat was completely sealed, it would never go in there. You'd have to heat the engine up to get it to open up and then top it up.
Right.
So that's why it's just taking a little bit of time to go down, so it just needs to go through that thermostat. Now what we do sometimes on race bikes is we take that out. Because we're not particularly worried about how quickly it warms up. We're not worried about getting in the car and it being warm and de-icing the screen super quickly. We don't care, because your bike is normally up and ready to rock and roll and warm and stuff by the time you hop on and go on track, because you've warmed it up in the paddock. And you don't care if it runs rich, you don't care if the heater's blown up.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. What you do care about is maximum efficiency there, because even though you've got a thermostat in there, looks like a UFO. It's kind of like a disc with a little valve that opens and closes at a set temperature. But even when that's open, obviously you've still got something in that pipe which restricts water flow. So what sometimes we do as racers is take that out completely, so there's absolutely no restriction. So opposed to having a thermostat which allows maybe a 30% reduction in coolant sort of through flow, take it out to 100%, but then you have no thermostat. But it does allow instantly more fluid to go around the cooling system quicker. Well, it doesn't matter, we're probably going to have to move it anyway, so put it there and then we'll just move it. Okay. I guarantee that wherever we put it, it's going to the wrong place. Right, and before you tighten that up, just stop a second, back that off just a tiny bit. Okay. I just want to check, what I'm checking here is that we're doing up on the spacer and not the bracket onto the chassis. Because obviously that's what holds your engine in. So you can see it's still moving, I can still see daylight, so you can just tweak that up. Probably a bit more than that because it holds your engine in. Yeah. I mean, we'll do it up properly before. Yeah. Okay. And this side, I guess, is just. It's just the reverse, isn't it? It's just easy. Just that. I'll tweak that out. And that, okay. Simple. What we got on this side? There's a bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Looking at it. Yeah. Now this one has no washer, but the spacer goes on the other side. Yeah, so bolt goes through, but even the diagram shows no washer. Okay.
Should we take the washer out of this one?
Diagram says no washer, so I would assemble it the way it kind of supposed to be. So again, we'll just check that it tightens up on that spacer before the bracket hits. Just not around the other way. No, sorry. Yes, it should. Okay, hang on.
Okay,
undo that.
Let's see what it means. Dramas, folks.
The pitch is off. The thread pitch is different.
The thread pitch is different.
So that's the bolt that came out, which which I think is metric fine. That's the pitch of the bolt they supplied. What should happen is they should mesh nicely together, fit perfectly. But unfortunately, they don't. So we need to source a new bolt. Nice. Golden screw.
Golden screw.
Line the flat off, it's a bit better mushroomed over, line it flat, and just push the pin out and break the chain. Job done.
Well, there you go, folks. Another bunch of stuff has been done and dusted and ticked off that checklist, and the R6 has taken yet another step closer to getting finished. So until next time, thanks for watching. As always, ride safe, and I'll see you on the road.